motion, I'ma get it, you know I be on the way. Yeah. You know I be on the way.
Welcome everyone to the Fight Against Mediocrity YouTube channel. My name is Kartchner, and here on this channel we talk everything sales, business, money, mindset. And today what I want to share with you is something I recently learned. It's the same thing that Grant Cardone used. It's the same thing that Gary Vee used. It's the same thing that Darren Hardy used. So all of these people use the same thing to become incredibly well known and make a lot of money because of it and help a lot of people because of it as well. So that's what I'm going to share today, how you can be known by millions of people around the world. And if that's not your goal, well, then how you can grow your business. It's a trick that not a lot of people know. It's not even really a trick. It's a principle of becoming known, and known so that more people can buy from you, can vote for you if you're running for president. Whatever it is that you're doing, it's so more people can be attracted to you and your cause. And it's the 4 stories you need to know about yourself and share with others in order to become known. So there are 4 stories. So stick around to make sure you get all 4 stories. If you do not, then you're missing out on becoming more known. And you're probably telling the wrong stories, and you're probably missing out on a lot of impact. So story number 1 is origin. And for Gary Vee, he's an immigrant. That's his origin. For Grant Cardone, the origin story that we know about him is that he lost his dad at a very young age, and his mom sold everything and they struggled financially. Darren Hardy, his origin story is that his mom didn't want him. And so she left and left his dad, who was a football coach, to raise him. Those are their origin stories. That's what we know about them. And that's how we feel like we know them very well, although that's all we know about their origin. The second story is the come up story. So for Gary Vee, the come up was in his wine business when he helped his dad grow the wine business and he got into social media and YouTube and video and all that stuff. For Grant Cardone, the come up is in sales when he was a car salesman. That was his come up story. That was when he started to become known and excel in something. Darren Hardy, his come up story is in real estate. He was an exceptional real estate agent, and that's his come up story. So that's the second. First is origin, second is come up. Third is how they got to where they're at. So let's go through it again. Gary Vee is marketing. He owns a marketing agency, and I would argue that now it is also NFTs. That's how he got to where he's at, is marketing and NFTs. Grant Cardone, how he got to where he's at is sales training. He's trained thousands of different companies on sales training, and now you could argue it's 10x and stuff like that, but you know how he got to where he's at, that's it, the business. You could also argue that Grant Cardone has also thrown real estate into theirs as far as how he's got there. So you can see how these stories change and adapt as you grow. And so don't feel like, well, I don't have a come up story or whatever yet, or I want my come up story to be this. Well, it's okay. It can change and adapt as you go, but you just need to know it for today. And then lastly, the 4th, so we've got first is origin, second is come up, third is how they got there, how you got to where you're at. And then the 4th, common interest. So common interest, meaning that they have something that is common with a lot of people who follow them or know them. Gary Vee, he wants to buy the New York Jets. It's a common interest. He loves football, loves the New York Jets. A lot of people that follow him feel the same way. Doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but it can be. Grant Cardone, common interest. You could argue it's real estate. You could argue it's family, fitness, cars, jet, a lot of different common interests that he promotes. And then Darren Hardy, I would say, is probably fitness. He really, really likes his dog. And I would probably say living somewhere warm and sunny. He has a house in San Diego and in Miami. And so now that you know these 4 stories that you need to know, the origin, come up, how you got to where you're at, and then common interest, you can start crafting the story you're telling people. And you might be asking yourself, well, Kevin, why does this matter? What does it matter if I have a story? What does it matter if people know my story? Well, here's the thing. When someone asks me about Gary Vee, it's funny, but I say he was an immigrant. He helped his dad grow his wine business. Now he does marketing. He wants to own the New York Jets. That's literally 4 sentences. And I feel like I know him, but we both know that you can't truly know someone in just 4 sentences. Like, he has a whole nother life that he lives that I have no idea about, but I feel like I know him. And that's what's important. You want your audience to feel like they know you so that they care. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'd like to share with you real quick an example of myself, my 4 stories. So my origin is I was a professional extreme unicyclist. I competed nationally and internationally. I ranked 2nd in North America. I competed in San Francisco, Minnesota, Wisconsin, New York, and I competed in the World Championships in Italy. That's my origin. You could also argue that my origin was I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so I went the corporate route and studied accounting and got a 9-to-5 and realized I hated it. So origin. My come up was in sales. I was in accounting and hated it, and so I knew that sales was the language of business, so I got into sales. And I struggled and I wasn't very good at it, but I ended up becoming the director of sales for 2 different companies and ended up eventually leaving. And part of that come up story was I was actually slated to take over my dad's home building company. He said, hey, if you want to, this is an option for you. And it's a really big home building company. They'll build like 400 homes last year or something. And part of my story is I said, what if I didn't do that? What if I went out on my own and did something different? What if I helped other people instead do what I did? Because I was making multiple 6 figures in sales and left that whole opportunity to start the Fight Against Mediocrity. And that's how I got here, is the Fight Against Mediocrity. I started a movement, Fight Against Mediocrity, Create Your Own Economy. I threw a big conference, started the Create Your Own Economy Club. That's how I got here to where I'm at today. I wrote a book called The Fight Against Mediocrity. And common interest that I have, I like the band Laney. That could be a common interest. I like working out. I get up early. I have a family. So you're starting to see patterns. I just shared with you maybe 60 seconds of things about me. And there's a lot that you don't know about me, but you feel like you know me. So that's the thing. Figure out your 4 stories and then spread them everywhere. Write a book, share them on social media, share them on blog posts, share them on YouTube videos, wherever you can. And that will spread like wildfire so you can make a bigger impact, grow your business, get more votes, whatever it may be. But you need to know those 4 stories. And I want to give credit where credit is due. I learned those 4 stories, that concept from Steph, from a business called Steph and Shay. Him and his wife, Shay, run a company called Be Resilient, and they help people with their mind power. They have a book called Master Your Mind Power. I'm currently listening to it. It's really good. But I highly recommend you check them out as well. StephandShay.com is their website. But hopefully this was helpful. Share down below your 4 stories. I'd love to hear them. I'd love to hear your feedback on this video. And I hope you have a fantastic day. We'll catch you in the next video.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah.